Vinton Cerf and Robert Kahn. You've probably never heard of them, but they've most definitely affected your life. They invented and designed the TCP/IP model. They're what make the internet work. Let's first understand TCP and IP individually. TCP, Transmission Control Protocol. This is the method the internet usually uses to send and receive information. It functions as a set of rules for how data must be formatted and transmitted through the internet. Now for IP, Internet Protocol. Internet Protocol addresses assign unique ID numbers to all devices connected to the internet and function as a set of rules for devices to communicate with each other. Together, these concepts create the TCP/IP model, the backbone of the internet, and functions as the full protocol of how a message is sent across the internet. Let's go a bit more into detail. Whenever you make any interaction with a website or application that requires a response, that interaction is sent as a message. Before your message is sent anywhere though, it's first broken into many easily transportable packets. These packets can then be broken down into two parts. The first part is the obvious one, the payload. It contains a piece of the actual message that you intend to send, whether it be an email or the input of you breaking a block in Minecraft. The second part is the less obvious part, called the metadata. This includes the destination IP address, the source IP address, a timestamp, and the order in which the packets should be reassembled. These packets are then sent to your router, which will point them in the direction of another router that's closer to the destination IP address until they arrive at the destination. The TCP requires a final confirmation that the receiving side received all packets, and then the connection ends. Now we know what Cerf and Kahn invented, but why does this matter?
The economy. The invention of TCP and the IP is what created the internet, and the internet completely changed productivity and the economy in the United States. Communication and commerce that often took days back and forth became near instant. Many large industries were forced to completely change as the internet became mainstream. Industries like retail, marketing, and media were completely flipped, and new industries like e-commerce and cloud computing emerged. The immediate effects of the internet on the economy could be seen during the dot-com boom in the 1990s. Many investors assumed this new technology was going to be hugely profitable when the first commercial uses of the internet became widespread, and investors invested billions into brand new companies. Although this worked out for some big companies that still exist today, such as Amazon or Google, most of these startups quickly fizzled out as it became apparent that most were not profitable. This resulted in a market crash in 2000, marking the end of the dot-com boom. But this was not the end of the internet and the economy, obviously. Even after the dot-com era, growth still far surpassed that of before the widespread adoption of the internet. The World Wide Web became popularized in the mid-1990s, and the effect of this can be seen through labor productivity changes in the U.S. around that time. According to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, the annual average productivity growth between 1985 and 1999, before the commercialization of the internet, was only 1.6%. Compared to the span of 1995 to 1999, the annual average growth was 2.8%. And despite the end of the dot-com boom in the year 2000, the annual growth between 2000 and 2004 only increased to 3.3%. In an article by Alice Rivlin, a former director of the U.S. Office of Management and Budget, she attributes the economic growth during this period to the adoption of the internet and its efficiency gains for U.S. workers. The internet has not only had large economic impacts, but also had an impact on media and politics, especially via information availability. With the widespread adoption of modern search engines like Google, most people have become reliant on the internet for access to political news and information. In theory, this would be great for voter transparency and allow voters to access multiple sources for reliable information, although in practice this has not gone exactly as one would think. The matter of net neutrality, which is the enforcement of equal treatment of all sources by Internet Service Providers, or ISPs, has been controversial to say the least. Now, What does equal treatment of all sources even mean? Maintaining net neutrality requires ISPs to allow and regulate internet traffic speeds regardless of where the traffic is going, and laws regarding this subject have precedent. For example, a violation of net neutrality would look like an ISP, such as Xfinity, making a deal with Netflix. Their deal would allow normal web traffic flow to Netflix, but limit speeds to their competitor Hulu, if Netflix paid Xfinity a sum of money. In a political context, the limiting of media sources, such as news outlets, by payment from partisan organizations can make reliable information actually harder to access than before the internet for many people. Net neutrality laws that required internet service providers to provide equal treatment did exist in 2015, when the FCC classified ISPs as Title II common carriers. This made it illegal for ISPs to take payment to block or throttle speeds for certain sites or sources. Recently, however, this has become an especially volatile topic when the FCC again reclassified ISPs as a telecommunications service in 2018, effectively removing all federal law requiring net neutrality from ISPs. As of June of 2026, throttling and limiting accesses by ISPs is still legal under federal law, aside from Washington and California, which have implemented their own net neutrality laws.
To conclude, Vinton Cerf and Robert Kahn have made drastic changes to the average American's life. The advent of the internet has supported the growth and creation of many industries, although it has also had a big effect on information accessibility. The use of the internet in many political campaigns has likely changed the outcomes of countless elections, including presidential. Without Cerf and Kahn's inventions, modern America would be completely different than the one we know today. Thank you for watching. I spent a ridiculous amount of time on this. I want to go to sleep now. Goodbye.